Well, let's start with the good news on an imperfect sumo day. Hakuho says of the March tournament, of course he's in. He's been freely practicing with Enho and Ishiuda since the rankings were announced last week, and reports, "I'm not in perfect condition, but getting through training in my own way. Some things will really be touch and go, but I've just got to soldier on. Of course I'm competing, and going for 3 March titles in a row." As mentioned in another post, today is his 36th birthday, and on that he says, "I feel I've grown dramatically older this past year. My injuries either aren't healing or taking ages to heal. And catching coronavirus was a real shock." March the 11th is also the 10th anniversary of the earthquake and tsunami disaster in northeast Japan, enhancing Hakuho's belief that his and the country's destinies are shared. "Humans naturally forget things, but we mustn't ever forget an event like that," he pronounced. Right now, the corona situation continues, but once the vaccines are rolled out, etc., and we get to travel around again, somehow I want to get back to that dohyo we donated to the kids in the Northeast. I want to go and teach them some sumo. Chairman Hakuho also released a message to the earthquake victims and survivors on behalf of the Sumo Association, and expressed his hope that sumo tours can resume in the region soon. As mentioned earlier, the first sumo setback today came with Kakuryu's latest withdrawal after tearing a thigh muscle in training on Tuesday. He likely won't be taking interviews, but his coach insists he absolutely wants to keep fighting. "I told him he had the option of quitting," said coach Michinoku, "but he told me his desire is still there, very strong in fact, and he wants to fight in May." Not for the first time, though, did he suggest that he and his star were not completely aligned. "I didn't actually notice his injury on the day, but only he can know whether it hurts," he continued. "I don't think his injury will take too long to clear up, and I'd expect to see him back moving around in training within a week or two." Asked what would happen if, and it seems unlikely, the Yokozuna Council carry out a veiled threat to recommend Kakuryu retire, Michinoku replied, "He's prepared for that, and we'll have to talk if it comes to that, but his body hasn't lost anything at all, and he strongly wants to continue." No comment from the Yokozuna Council as of yet. Now then, the PCRs. The good news is that no wrestlers have tested positive. The bad news is that coaches Onogawa and Otowayama, 2 of the main faces on sumo's official YouTube channel, have. They belong to Yamahibiki and Onue stable respectively, thus throwing into doubt the appearances of Kitaharima, Ryuko, and Hokutenkai this time, making the 3rd Division promotion race far less exciting. Press Chief Shibatayama says it all depends on how actively they've trained with their wrestlers. Investigations are to be concluded by the release of fixtures tomorrow. And because Onogawa and Otowayama have been working in the Kokugikan on tournament preparation, 13 other coaches and staff in their presence must now be retested. Finally, the former Wakakirin, real name Shinichi Suzukawa, fired from sumo for drug possession in 2009, has been arrested for drug possession again. The 37-year-old was, despite his loud protests, picked up at Ikebukuro Station 3 days ago with some kind of sieve carrying traces of an illegal substance. He now awaits his fate. Japan currently stands with sumo in believing that ostracizing rule breakers is better for society as a whole. But when I see what happens to abruptly fired wrestlers, I do wonder if sumo, on some level, even at arm's length through a separate body, should offer them more help.